Hi, this is Matthew Skolch riding for Westby Racing. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe.
And you're locked into the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship, our 7th round for 2022. The round, Superbikes at Minnesota. Coming at you from Brainerd International Raceway. It's SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, race number 1. Hello everyone, welcome to the broadcast booth and welcome to Brainerd, Minnesota. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time champ Jason Pridmore. Now Jason, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup has been entertaining for sure. We've seen a lot of people on the podium and we've seen a lot of different race winners, but Cody Wyman leads this championship by a slim 18 points.
Yeah, we had 5 to 6 riders really locked in a championship battle going into Monterey up at Laguna Seca, and for Cody Wyman, it was a dream weekend. As you can see here, Greg, he's leading the championship right now, 166 to 148 over Gus Rodeo. All of his championship contenders had big problems at Laguna Seca, which allowed Cody to get this lead.
And this is a class where we've seen a lot of different people on the podium. So each rider in the top 5 has had a win, but there have been 9 on the podium so far this season, with Joe Lamondre leading with 7 podiums so far. It's been pretty incredible. Well, we told you Cody Wyman's on top. He has his 2nd consecutive pole position, and for his efforts this week, he earned himself a Wilbur watch. Man, he's going to love that. That was a hotly contested item in qualifying here in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. So Jason, Cody Wyman sits on pole, but we know that he and Kayla Yakov and Gus Rodeo in qualifying today were locked in a battle, and they just kept trading positions up top. Do you think the race is going to be like that?
I think it's going to be like that. This is a place where we're going to be able to see some drafting. Talking to Kayla yesterday before qualifying started, her and Cody have been working quite a bit together in some of these sessions, and she said, well, if I don't get the watch, I want Cody to get it. And I think Cody had the same sentiment for Kayla also. Gus Rodeo is going to be in that mix today as well, as you say, though.
As is early championship leader, Max Van. He was also really fast. Well, now we're going to take you to our MotoAmerica Live Plus crew. Let's throw it over to Greg Creamer and Roger Hayden.
All right, thanks very much, Greg. Yeah, we're looking forward to this one as well. This is going to be, I think, exactly that. We are going to see different leaders, possibly almost every lap of this race, and it's all going to be a chess match that these riders are going to have to play to perfection to be the one out front coming out of that final 13th turn and crossing that checkered flag. So it's going to be pretty fascinating to watch, and that's going to be coming at you here at Brainerd International Raceway when we come back.
Motion Pro. We make innovative tools and products that help you maintain and repair motorcycles, ATVs, and UTVs. Like the patented Pro-Fill Air Chuck, helping you manage tire air pressure on your motorcycle, ATV, or UTV. Easily adjust the Pro-Fill Air Chuck. Get past hot disc brake rotors with the pivoting angled head. Connect it with an airline. Or pair it with a Motion Pro digital tire pressure gauge. Reach for the Pro-Fill Air Chuck to manage your tires. Get yours at motionpro.com or visit Power Sports stores nationwide.
Hello MotoAmerica, members and fans. My name is Ronnie and I'm the founder and CEO of MotoCoach Parts, located in Germany. I'm excited to announce that in 2022 I will supply the MotoAmerica Superbike Championship with my favorite product, the brake caliper cooler. This product is obviously FEM licensed and has now also been permitted in the MotoAmerica Championship. The function of this brake caliper cooler is to break down the temperature in the brake caliper to 15 to 20 degrees. You'll profit from less pressure point running, no more burned brake pads, no burned wrap disc. See you on the track.
My name's Corey West. I'm riding the Sly Fox Saddleman Harley Davidson. I'm a 4th generation motorcyclist, been racing motorcycles professionally for like 21 years now, and now I'm flogging these baggers around racetracks.
Well, my name is Patricia Fernandez and I'm racing the Saddleman Indian Challenger. I've been a pro racer for about 8 years now. First time ever on a bagger in any way, shape, or form.
Why do I choose Motul in my bikes? It's the best stuff. I mean, the lubricants, the oil. I'm a huge fan of the Moto Wash. That stuff always makes my bikes look brand new.
I choose Motul because honestly, it's the best. Even before I became a racer, like I was using Motul for all my street bikes and dirt bikes, and huge fan of the Motul helmet clean, both exterior and interior. Because, you know, we get all sweaty and nasty racing and stuff, but a few squirts of that helmet, interior clean, and it smells good as new.
VP Racing Fuels, the official fuel of AMA Pro Motocross, MotoAmerica, and American Flat Track. No matter what motorcycle you race or ride, amateur or pro, we have a fuel to make more power. Keep your bike running cool with VP Stay Frosty Coolant, available in 2 formulas. Race ready, designed to be glycol free and track approved, and high performance with freeze protection for street applications. Visit vpracingfuels.com to learn more.
All right, bikes out on their sighting lap here as we get ready for the SportbikeTrackGear.com first race of the doubleheader this weekend, and making their way around. And one of the things that Greg and Jason were talking about, Roger, was the great podium runs that Joseph Lamondre Jr. has had, but he had a little issue in qualifying. He starts back outside of row 3.
Yeah, he's going to be coming from 9th, so luckily for him, though, I think he can get up there pretty quick because the straightaway is so long here. They will start drafting right away, so he can get himself up in there right away. It is kind of weird to see him down there in 9th. I'm not sure if he had an issue. They only had 1 qualifier this weekend, so maybe if he had a problem, he didn't get to get a lot of laps in. But him coming from 9th, he just has to get a good start. And the biggest thing, if it's a 4 or 5 rider battle at the front, make sure you're in it. Don't let them get away. And you know, the big thing that's going to come down in this Junior Cup race, I think, is putting yourself in the right spot the last lap. Where do you want to be? You know, really watching your pit board and, you know, checking out where you can pass during the race. So on the last lap, you know exactly where you want to be. Can you come from 4th to 1st in the draft? Or if not, you know, is it 2nd or 3rd that you need to be able to make that draft? So it's going to be interesting to see, because I don't think they're going to draft out of the last corner to the line. I think you might have to have the pass done before turn 13.
Too simplistic maybe to say that the last place you want to be coming out of 13 to get the white flag for the last lap is in the lead?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that would be a good spot, unless unless they draft you and then you draft back by them or whatever. But I would assume you probably want to, you know, if you're leading coming out of turn 13, they're probably going to draft back by you before turns 1 and 2, and especially by turn 3 on the brakes. I think they would draft back by you, but just depends. If it's long enough and it's wide open through there for them, then maybe they could, you know, redraft. But I definitely would not want to be leading out of the last corner. But even looking at the stripe now, even on the last lap, that is a pretty good run to the stripe there. So maybe you could make a pass if you got a really good run on somebody out of that last corner.
Well, and we've seen this happen here many times last year, that turn 12, you force somebody into a little mistake there, or that they try and protect too much, you might be able to get that done.
Or somebody makes a mistake through
right.
that. And also, you know, we see these kids really aggressive last race. A couple racing incidents. Two riders got together wanting to go for the same line, and that's what's going to happen. That's the risk you take whenever these guys are battling so close that, you know, everybody's trying to go for that one spot, and sometimes 2 riders collide.
And of course, we've seen great speed out of Max Van this year. Avery Dreyer is on form this weekend on the number 99, and number 14 at Chase Black looking pretty good too. Aiden Tao always in the mix, and Owen Williams has showed some speed too. So I mean, there's a large group that can seriously be at play for the win here when we get into those final laps. But one thing we know for the duration of this race, it is going to be a duel extraordinaire with a number of different bikes in play. Can't wait to watch this one unfold. And once again, time to send it back over to Greg and Jason for the call.
All right, here's the starting grid. Cody Wyman, as you saw on pole with that watch at a 1:43.567.
Kayla Yakov right there with Gus Rodeo on the front row. Max Van is there with Avery Dreyer and Chase Black on row number 2. A little further back, Aiden Dow, Owen Williams, and Joe Lamandria. See if he can come to the front, Greg, as one of our title contenders. Vandal, Rivera, and Elliott, row 4. And then we got Separano and Bamer rounding out row number 5.
So riders right now on their warm-up lap. And Jason, The interesting thing about the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup bikes is a lot of these riders talk about feeling a side draft, especially through one and turn 2.
Yes.
That side draft, very interesting when they're at full race speed. Looking at the number 31, Altus Motorsports Racing, Kayla Yakov, with a win this season and 5 podium finishes, barely missing the front row in this one as Kayla and Cody Wyman worked together with Gus Rodeo in qualifying to occupy the front row. Here we go, set to race. 11 laps scheduled in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 1 here from Brainerd International Raceway. When the lights go out, we get racing. Red lights are on, revs are up, they're off, clutches are out. Gus Rodeo got a decent launch, but it's going to be Kayla Yakov for the moment, the number 31, who takes the point. Everybody trying to find some real estate as they rip through turn number 1.
Do not be surprised if they're 5 wide, as I can see them starting to spread out going here into turn number 2. They are going to be like this the entire race, Greg, as you're going to have, I think, a lead draft of 7 or 8 of them up at the front, and I'm trying to see, is it Max Van who is at the front right now? Max Van's going to lead into turn 3 with Yakov, and Lamandry Jr. comes from row number 3 and puts himself in 3rd. He has not been here before. Had an incident yesterday. The team had to kind of rebuild that bike, and so really the first session this morning was only his 2nd time on the track. So Lamandry doing a nice job. Aiden Thau there. Cody Wyman back to 5th from pole position.
Yeah, Gus Rodeo back there as well. So other than Kayla Yakov, the front row wasn't the place to start. They got gobbled up by that draft.
Yeah, but it's not going to take them long, is it, Greg? I mean, you got to feel that even if you're 5th or 6th place, Gus Rodeo will drag them back up. As you can see, Gus moving over, doesn't want to get past, wants to get into this long turn 8 area up behind 4th place. He's going to try to close that gap down to Aiden Thau right now. So he's already doing that, the red bike there. And Max Van doing a good job leading the start of this race.
Already a gap formed to a little group back there. But Max Van, resurgence for the SportbikeTrackGear.com sponsored rider, and it looks like Lamandry Jr. So Gus Rodeo's making some moves. Yep. He's now up to 4th spot on that Rodeo Racing Warhorse HSBK Racing, the Red Rocket.
Now this is, again, you're going to see everybody fan out as soon as they go through turn 1 here. Wide open on these little bikes, Greg. Wide open through here. And now it's going to see if Lamandry Jr. can take advantage of a double bike draft right in front of him, because Kayla's going to take advantage of it. It looks like she's trying to, at least. She can't quite do it. Max Van, man, he's a big kid, Greg, but look how tucked in he is. He's really got his body in and around. As Gus Rodeo is the one who's able to get by Lamandry Jr.
And this is really the test of gearing, too, because the first time that we've seen a pack this big in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup so far this weekend, there have been groups of 2 or 3 in qualifying, but this big pack, man, if you're the number 55 Aiden Thau back there, you're wondering, man, do I have enough gearing to pull a 4-bike draft?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you hear these bikes often, you know, you'll hear it through our mics even in where the bikes are in the limiter. So we're going to look at the lap times when they come through on this next lap. Max Van kind of saw, I think he might have seen Kayla there. He hesitated for just a second to tip that bike in. But right now, Greg, we are looking at 8 riders at the front. Owen Williams in 9th, doing everything he can to just hang on to the back of them. And really, if he can just get there, you can see him. He's the 9th rider in that frame. And he's so close to getting himself into this lead big draft. And that's really where you need to be so you can stay there. And he's done that. So we have a 9-rider pack at the front.
Max Van, 16 years old, just about 2 months away from his 17th birthday. Back up front where he feels like he belongs as Gus Rodeo sneaks past Kayla Yakov and will take over 2nd spot.
Man, that's a good place to be good. And we've seen Gus Rodeo make passes in that second to last corner a lot. If he can make that stick even on the last lap, these are trial runs for the number 96. As he's able to do something with everybody going into turn 12. And it's not really a spot, Greg, where he would have to defend coming across the line if it was the last lap. It would be difficult for anybody to do anything with him. But you can see this draft coming into effect again. Gus Rodeo goes to the front now. And both the SportbikeTrackGear.com bikes are 2nd and 3rd. Kayla there in 4th. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that.
Little bit of elbow rubbing right there, and another pass for the lead. as Gus Rodeo had it for a moment. But the big news is your championship points leader, Cody Wyman, has been able to recover from a not great start, and he's now back onto the front 4 in 5th spot. So back up front we go, and this is one hungry Max Van. And Gus Rodeo's been mixing it up with the entire field during the entire course of this season.
Yeah, he's always there, and it's no surprise to see the 34, Cody Wyman, better in the class, leading the points. He's got that big points lead now, Greg. I mean, big by Junior Cup standards,
yeah, 18.
right? And that last race weekend at Laguna, a lot of our front leaders, in fact, every one of them had a problem. So for Cody, he doesn't want to give those points back. He's going to be very smart about the moves that he makes moving forward right now.
All right, so if you're new to SportbikeTrackGear.com, Junior Cup Racing, out front is the number 48. That is Max Van out of Michigan. He's on the SportbikeTrackGear.com sponsored bike. But there's Gus Rodeo, the number 96. He is on the Rodeo Racing Warhorse HSBK motorcycle. And then in 3rd spot now is teammate to Max Van, Joe Lamondre Jr. And then you have Kayla Yakov in there on the Altus Motorsports, all riders on the Kawasaki Ninja 400. Now let's welcome the 3rd member of our broadcast team in. It's Hannah Lopa. Hannah, how's it going?
It's going great, guys. It is hot out here right now, and as Kayla Yakov tries to make her way back up to the front of the field, I spoke to her earlier this weekend, and she said she's approaching this weekend with a different strategy, a different mindset than she normally would. And I asked her, why? And she said, I've experienced all the highs and lows that racing has to offer, and I'm trying to leave Laguna behind me and really just keep things positive. When I asked about how the bike was feeling, she said a couple little tweaks here and there just to hopefully help her get over the bumps a little bit smoother. But I think it's really interesting that someone so young takes a look internally and says, what can I do differently in order to better optimize the remainder of my season?
It's amazing, Hannah, that you bring all those points up, because if you talk to her, she's well beyond her years. She's super mature, knows her racecraft very, very well. I think she communicates with the team amazing, and she can look at big picture. She has had the highs and lows. I saw her at the end of the Laguna Seca weekend, and all I said to her when I walked up is it's going to get better. You just got to keep plugging along. It's not necessarily anything you're doing wrong. This class, Greg, is so tight, isn't it? And we very rarely see bikes come together, but at Laguna we did, and it was a race incident to me with Max Van. And on the second day, she just happened to be behind Lamondre Jr. when he crashed out of turn 3 there, and a bunch of the riders had to take evasive action, and she was just had to take the most evasive action. And but she knows how to obviously race all these guys, and she'll make her way back up to the front slowly but surely here.
Impressive is the 99 of Avery Dreyer on the Bad Boys Racing entry as he slides back to 4th, was in 3rd for quite a while. Having a great run is the Floridian, Avery Dreyer. But he'll fall victim to the 62, Bazooka Joe Lamondre in 3rd spot. So far, JP, we've had 5 passes for the lead. We're not even at half distance yet.
Wow, Cody got a nice 2-bike draft there. And, Greg, going back to some things that you and I have talked about often in this series, when you think about the points and things, all these kids that are behind Cody right now, they just got to start beating him. That's the thing. And Cody's going to know he's got that target on his back. So he's got to continue to try to keep up towards the front, give himself a chance to maximize his points the best he can without getting caught up in anybody else's mess. For Lamondre Jr., for argument's sake, he's never seen this track, like I said. So he's kind of learning trial by fire. They thought that they maybe had something wrong with the motorcycle from his accident at Laguna, and then he had an incident here yesterday. And so the team's been hard at work, but Max Van, we saw him winning some races at the beginning of the year, and he's really good right now through all this infield section.
How tight do you like SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup? Avery Dreyer, who was in 4th, slides to 5th position, but has the fastest lap of the race at a 1:45.1. We're halfway through. There's so much more racing coming at you. So, Jay, we've seen these 5 passes for the lead. Things have started to settle down, at least between Max Van and Gus Rodeo. But Kayla Yakov has now advanced her way into 4th spot, just behind Lamondre Jr. Avery Dreyer is just behind Cody Wyman on the 34. What's impressive, Jay, is that we haven't really seen many riders drop off. I mean, this lead group has stayed steady so far with about 6 laps remaining. One thing we know about these smaller displacement motorcycles, use all the track that's given you.
Absolutely, yeah. There's 9 riders at the front. You see this little breakaway now. It looks like 6 are trying to get away. The back 3 right now are Aiden Thau, Chase Black, and Owen Williams. They're going to do everything they can, because as soon as these go 3 or 4 wide, the 3 behind can actually try to catch up a bit as they head down into turn 3, but they're just ever so slightly starting to lose contact. When these guys all spread out, though, as you can see, Gus Rodeo going for a big move on Max Van.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a late move, big move, a little bit of contact between those 2, and that will be what will allow those other 3 to try to stay in that group. But right now, they're falling off the back.
Rodeo's getting after it. All the while, as crazy as it sounds, Yakov just did the fastest lap of the race in a 1:45 flat, and she's going to sit back in 6th spot after doing the fastest lap of the race. Things are getting chippy in SportbikeTrackGear.com. Junior Cup racing, no doubt about it. Gus Rodeo at the front. The 6th lead change we've seen so far in this race. Then it's going to be Max Van, followed by his teammate Lamondre Jr. And then you have the wily veteran at 28 years old, Cody Wyman in there in 4th spot. Avery Dreyer holding on to 5th. Kayla Yakov in 6th spot. And then you have the 55 of Aiden Thau still in the mix.
Yeah, and those guys have closed back up. And keep in mind, when you see Cody Wyman and Kayla Yakov riding around, they ride around each other a lot in qualifying. A lot of these riders will have a dance partner, if you will, that they can get into qualifying, especially at these tracks that we draft at. And those 2 ride around a lot together. So if you see them kind of running around each other, you can expect those 2 to not chop each other up that much.
5 laps remaining in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Gus Rodeo has the lead for the moment, but it looks like there's going to be a move around the outside, and it's Max Van again who takes the spot. But all the while, here comes Cody Wyman. He's been chipping away at it, Jason. He drifted back. Now he's up into 3rd.
Well, with 5 to go, we've seen Cody in the past kind of keep himself out of harm's way. He's very good about protecting lines. He's very good about track position. That's what you'd expect from somebody like Cody, who's been around a while and raced in this class. As you can see, Gus Rodeo is at the front, gets by Max Van, but Cody now wants to try to take his shot as well, like you say, Greg. But he's kind of sat back there, 4th, 5th, as Gus Rodeo goes really wide as he exits turn number 5 into 6. Look like there could be an opportunity for a passing opportunity for Max Van. Wasn't able to quite do it. Hannah?
For Gus Rodeo, they were working on some gearing and suspension changes to get some more weight on the tire for tipping into those corners. He said he started off the weekend a little bit off the pace, but he's happy with the progress he made, especially for a front row start, and I'm sure very happy to be leading some laps right now. He said he's starting to think more about the points, who he needs to beat, but most importantly, just be consistent and finish races. He's never really been in this position before where he's had to think about how the end of the season's going to play out.
And that's all part of the maturation process and what SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup allows racers to do here at the top level of motorcycle road racing in the United States.
Well, what's really crazy is, you know, you hear Cody's talk like that, and you think about Gagne. Gagne, our Superbike champion here at MotoAmerica, talks about never thinking about the points, but it's impossible when you're going for your first championship polish to do that. As you get more experience and as you get better at your racecraft and things like that, because it does change, Greg. All of a sudden, he's gone from just fighting every weekend for wins to having, is it an 18-point lead coming into this event? And it does change. It's sometimes it's very difficult to not have that change your outlook on what you're doing. He wants to be smart about how things go. So again, he's trying to look down the inside now as he comes into turn 3. As you can see, Kayla getting racy up the outside. Cody's going to slot himself into 2nd as they go through turn number 3. And again, a gap has created the top 5 riders. And you can see Aiden Thau back there on the 55.
Is Cody going to the front?
Yeah, he does. He goes to the front going into turn number 4.
This is kind of what we've seen from Cody Wyman. He's been hanging back. Now the question is, let's test the rest of the field and see what kind of pace we have, because we've now broken this down into the top 5. That whole group is right behind them, but they're not within striking distance. So we've sorted ourselves out, and now it's Cody Wyman out front. You have Max Van in the mix, Gus Rodeo, Joe Lamondre, and Kayla Yakov.
There was a sector here, and I can't remember now, Greg. I looked at him earlier, if it was sector 2 or 3. But Cody Wyman was half a second quicker this morning than anybody. I mean, that's a big distance between what he had done and the next fastest. And he is doing exactly what he needs to do right now. He's got his head down, and he's trying to go get this win. And look at the gap he has pulled out. Now I'm looking up on our screen here to look at fastest splits. Third fastest split of the race for him. First fastest split in Sector 3, 27.1. The next best is 27.3 of Max Van. So he has stepped everybody up behind him. This is going to separate that field even more now as Cody Wyman drops the hammer.
And Max Van is answering right now. There's no question. Max Van is going with Cody Wyman at a 1:44.3, fastest lap of the race. Max Van is right there, and it looks like Van has taken over the lead.
Wow.
We thought Cody might have been gone. So Wyman, is he going to try to fight back? No, he just doesn't have the roll speed that Max Van has right now on the top end.
Well, roll speed or just pure outright speed, as you can see now. Cody Wyman trying to do something with Max Van as they go down into turn 3, but that has fractured that group. Our first 44s of the race come from the first and second place riders. Max Van at a 44.9, Cody Wyman at a 44.3. We've got a breakaway of 5 now as Kayla Yakov and Gus Rodeo are 3rd and 4th, and Joe Lamondre Jr. doing everything he can to stick on the back of these 4.
So impressive to watch the fastest lap of the race happen and then watch the riders drift backwards, because the answers are happening. Now, of course, the lap record here set last year, our first time here to Brainerd International Raceway, is a 42.7 by Ben Glotty, but 44.3 so far as these riders have broken away the top 5. And it is Max Van who is your early championship points. So you can hear rev limiters. You can hear motorcycles bouncing off rev limiters. It was almost like it was Gus Rodeo for a second, and he lost a little bit of time. Here comes Kayla Yakov. Is she going to get around Rodeo around the outside? No, Rodeo goes up the inside of Wyman.
Yes, he does. Yeah, it's a good move there.
So these top 5 have separated themselves with about, well, we're going to go 2 laps to go. So now you've had 9 laps to kind of figure out where you want to be, as Max Van trying to pull the pin and get away from everybody. And Cody Wyman's going, cannot let that happen. Trying to get around Gus Rodeo. Rodeo falls back in place. Here goes Yakov out into no man's land. Gets back into the draft. That's the problem with this awesome turn 1 and 2 on these small displacement motorcycles. You can be a sitting duck in that draft. Not a pass for the lead at the moment, but everybody bunch right back up.
Yeah, now we got about a lap and a half to go. And I think, you know, for Cody, he made a real shot, didn't he, a couple laps ago to pull away. Now he finds himself back in 5th and having to rethink kind of what he wants to do. And we know how good Gus Rodeo is down into turn 12. I think Gus Rodeo is going to do, if he can't be leading, he's going to do everything he can to put himself in 2nd towards the end of this race to try to put himself in a position to do something with whoever's in front of him down in that turn 12 area. For Cody Wyman, he's going to have to try to draft his way back up to the front. The next time by, they're going to get the 1 lap, the white flag for 1 lap to go. And he'll be able to maybe draft up to 2nd or 3rd place between the last corner and turn 3.
I don't know, Max Van, to me, especially in this section right here, is able to get over the bump and through this section. And Max Van looks so strong, but here comes Rodeo. Closes up on the back of Van. Yakov right there in 3rd spot. And then you have Bazooka Joe and Cody Wyman on the 34s. Wyman trying to make a move up the inside for 4th place. He doesn't get it done. Gus Rodeo leaving that transition from left to right a little bit late.
Look for Kayla and Lamandry also, as it looks Cody didn't quite get through that sector probably the way he wanted to. Those last couple of corners, he's a little bit too far back, but he'll get a 3-rider draft here, Greg. Watch the 13, watch the rider in 5th there, the 34. Look, you see, Greg, he's getting drug up there now as Kayla is making her shot as well. You see Gus Rodeo. There's nowhere for Cody to go. Gus Rodeo now trying to go around the outside of Max Van. Watch Kayla cut down to the inside. We've seen how good she is on the brakes all year long. Is she going to go for it?
Here goes Kayla Yakov, the 31. Nope, not up the inside. Max Van is so strong right now. But Kayla Yakov moves herself into 2nd position. And Lamandry a little bit wide. Boy, this is tense on the final lap. Here comes Yakov. To the front she goes. So the 15-year-old takes over the spot for the moment. Now Max Van has got to answer something. He doesn't know that Gus Rodeo is behind him looking for a way around, and all the while the championship points leader trying to find some room as well. As up the inside goes Cody.
Cody does a tremendous job getting himself into third, and this is really going to block what Rodeo wants to do, is get down the inside of somebody into turn 12, but now he's fourth. Kayla ever so slightly opening up that gap, and I know, Greg, she's got a lot of racecraft. She's going to go through this big long right, hold it tight all the way through, and when she goes into turn 12, I wouldn't be surprised to see her close the door off a little bit and not allow one of these guys to try to put their motorcycle down the inside. She has got enough of a gap right now where she could try to hold on for this victory.
What a move from Yakov out of the chicane. Now they're coming into a hard-braking left-hand corner heading towards the bridge, and Gus Rodeo goes sideways. Oh, and he cleans him out.
Yeah,
so Max Van goes down. All the while, Yakov doesn't know what's going on. She comes through the final corner. The 15-year-old with her head down as she looks at nothing but checkered flag and will take the win in SportbikeTrackGear.com junior race number 1. Lamondre Jr. in second, Cody Wyman. Owen Williams.
Fourth place for Owen Williams. That's tremendous effort. Avery Dreyer, Aiden Dow, Chase Black. We're waiting for these two guys to come across the line now. As you can see, Gus Rodeo, man, he went for it, but man, Greg, he got in there extremely deep and cleaned out Max Van.
Let's take a replay of the crash. Jason, talk us through
Well,
it.
you're going to see the bike go extremely sideways, Greg. I can see it from my viewing point out our window. You can see Gus Rodeo, who's been strong here, and we knew he wanted to put himself in this position. Gets the bike backed in, and look how backed in it got, and he straightens it up, runs into the back of Max Van. So Max Van, unfortunately, an innocent victim there in that last corner. You can see how hard he hit him, too. I'm so thankful to see him get back up. But that opened up the door for Kayla Yakov to go on and win her race here at Brainerd. And Greg, she did it really dominating in that last lap, going 44.4, her fastest lap of the race.
No panic for Yakov. Was all the way, I think, as far back as 6th place. But 11 lead changes that I got in that race, Jay. There may have been more, but I got 11 lead changes. Here's a look at Yakov's pace, and like Jason said, a 144.431. Fastest lap of the race is Cody Wyman at a 44.390. That was on lap 8. So it's Yakov, Lamondre Jr., Cody Wyman, Owen Williams, who was back there in that battle. We barely got to see Owen Williams. Dreyer, Aiden Dow, Chase Black. We're going to talk to Kayla when we come back to Brainerd International Raceway.
Jason Wygant, Roger Hayden, to go through the aftermath of this STG Junior Cup race. And it seems like lately you can't have an STG Junior Cup race without a little bit of drama out there. This time they kept it cool to the last corner, and then it was Gus Rodeo diving in a little too deep.
Yeah, he just got in a little bit deep and couldn't get it stopped and just made a mistake. And, you know, those as tight as they race in this class, those mistakes can happen. And Gus is a young guy, and I'm sure he'll learn from that. And, you know, he just made a mistake. He got in too deep. That's part of racing, and I'm sure he'll learn from it. Unfortunately for Max Van, he got caught up in another racing incident, the same thing that happened at Laguna. This one was a little more clear who was really at fault. But, you know, they were both going for it on the last lap, and that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, unbelievable. So Max Van was going second, maybe third, at least on the podium, and he ends up finishing in 14th because of an accident there at the end. Meanwhile, Kayla Yakov now has 2 victories officially. She had a win earlier in the year that got taken away. And a huge congratulations to the Landers family. There was Rocco, there's Stoney. Everybody seems to be a Kayla Yakov fan here in this MotoAmerica paddock.
Yeah, she's really popular in the pits just because she's such, you know, a great young lady. There's her little sister.
Oh, cool.
Her dad's there, so it's really, really cool to see. And just, you know, everybody has a lot of respect for her. She's earned it. She rides hard, and, you know, she's really friendly. She's always got a smile on her face, and she's, you know, pretty new to the class to already have a couple wins.
Yeah, that's right. And kind of like Max Van, she can talk about the points that went away in some racing incidents, and that cost her pretty much on the outside in as far as looking at a title, because through all this carnage every week, Cody Wyman, he has been the master of just staying away from that. Another podium for him.
He only really did. He got caught up in one accident at the V-Hour whenever Kayla didn't have any brakes. But besides that, that is the only mistake that he's made all year, and everybody else has had some big mistakes here and there, and he's just been really consistent, and now he has a nice points lead, and today he's going to make up a lot of points again on the closest guy that was behind him before this race started.
Yep, and meanwhile, good job by Bazooka Joe Lamondre here, finishing up in the number 2 spot. So a pretty good mix of riders on the podium today. Yakov was drinking a Capri Sun to celebrate her victory. And also taking the congratulations, like I said, from the Landers family. And then even Cody Wyman came over to congratulate her. Those two have become pretty good friends off the track, and they worked together in qualifying. As for Lamondre, he overcame quite a bit. He was way behind the 8 ball. That's actually Kayla's dad there on the right, congratulating him. He missed some time with a crash early in the weekend, and he was way off in qualifying. I think 9th fastest. But he told me this morning he was confident he'd get it back together, and he did, putting it up in 2nd place.
He did, and you can tell he's got a nice little limp there, so he's riding a little banged up and, you know, missing out on that track time.
Yep, yeah, they had some front-end issues they were dealing with. Clearly they got it fixed, put him up on the box, and we'll send it back next door to talk to our podium.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance.
Celebrations after SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup as Rocco Landers beats on Kayla Yakov, and congratulations. Good thing she's wearing those leathers.
Yeah, get the air chute to pop off right there, huh?
Here's a look at those results. 1.1 seconds, the second largest margin of victory we've had all season long. And part of that was obviously caused by that last lap incident. Let's get right down to Hannah, who has our race winner, Kayla Yakov.
And Greg, it is her 2nd victory of the season. Kayla, a lot of passes were traded back and forth there. You were looking for a way to get around Max Van. You didn't know that he had actually crashed behind you. How were you able to utilize your racecraft to get to the front of the pack on that final lap?
Yeah, I hope Max is okay. Yeah, I just kind of got out there and I knew what I wanted to do going into the race, and it went perfectly. You know, there were spots in the race that I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, but I never gave up and went for it.
Now, earlier in the weekend, you and I had spoken about your mental approach heading into this weekend, a different strategy and just kind of looking at yourself and what you can do differently. Do you think that that applied here today and you made the most of that?
Yeah, I mean, after Laguna, it was a big bummer, and to come back and do this is great. I do want to say happy birthday to Etta. Also, you know, the passing of Scott this weekend is just big for the sport, and I didn't personally know him. But the impact that he's made is immense, and you know, we never want to see that in our sport, and he did what he loved. So this one's definitely for him, and I'm so happy to be up here. Thank you to my whole Altus Motorsports crew, WPS, Fly Racing, M4, all my sponsors, the Warhorse Group, Medallia, HJC, Bison Letters, Alpine Star Boots and Gloves, Dragonfly Coffee Roasters, TST, everyone else helping me out. I really appreciate it, and as always, it's for Dylan.
Congratulations, Kayla Yakov, today's STG Junior Cup race winner.
For Kayla, Jason, it is her 2nd race win, and we know that more are coming down the pipe. Impressive racecraft for the win. Let's get right down to Hannah.
It is always a draft battle here in the STG Junior Cup. Taking 2nd place today was Joseph Lamondre Jr. How were you able to manage your position with everything that was going on?
You know, before I start, I have to give a huge apologies to the Briotti family. You know, Scott was an amazing man, and just a rest in peace to Scott. He just brought light to everyone in the paddock. So sending prayers and love to the family, and I'm hoping they can get through this. But going into this weekend, I was kind of confident, but dealing with some fractured bones in my foot and a couple torn ligaments, so it was definitely hard riding this weekend. But and this track is new to me, so you know, having practice, I crashed in practice pretty big, had no track time. Unfortunately, didn't go out for Q1, and Q2 I learned that I had a bent front row rim, so that just made it even worse. But huge thanks to SportbikeTrackGear, Boss Racing, CyberSafe Solutions team. They put a ton of effort getting me back up here this weekend, so happy to collect some points after the crash in Laguna, and I'm ready for tomorrow.
having limited laps at a track that is new to you, what were you able to learn having gone the full race distance now that you can utilize to better prepare you for tomorrow's race?
I saw my lines. I was kind of cutting it to the inside and killing my drive on exit. So that's definitely something we're going to go back and look at and change for tomorrow.
Thanks, Joe. Congrats.
Perfect. And that's the greatest thing about these 2 race formats, Jason, is the fact that you can get that done.
Yeah. And he's an incredibly intelligent young man as well, and he takes his racing very, very seriously, as you know, and he has been injured, Greg. That big crash he had at Laguna did some damage to his ankle, and he was really hoping he was going to be closer to the fitness that he was there going into Laguna, but he'll be better tomorrow. Let's get back down to Hannah.
Third place today goes to Cody Wyman. Cody, leading the championship points right now, knowing the urgency there is with only a few rounds remaining, how do you manage how much risk you take in a large group out on the track like that?
Yeah, I would have loved to be in the front couple bikes, but this draft, it's easy to go from 6th to 1st or vice versa. You know, can't be up here without thinking about the Brody family, and, you know, Reese and everyone, we're thinking about you. Terrible thing that happened yesterday, but, you know, we're racing in his honor this weekend. So big hats off, Alpha Omega, Helmet House, Core-Tech Leathers, Shoei Helmets, Champ U, Spears, Quarterly, K-Tech, Evil Technologies, Thermaltech USA, Motivation USA, SC Project, everyone who's kept this program going. We're in a good spot right now, just trying to keep it clean, and we'll try to keep this going tomorrow.
Cody Wyman rounding out your STG Junior Cup podium.
Yeah, and a great, great race strategy from him. Got a little bit of help from Gus Rodeo, who had a bit of an issue there on the last lap.
But you heard what he said. He's going to try to keep everything clean. He's just got to keep racking up points. Cody will win more this year, no question about it. So on the ones he doesn't win, he's just got to try to keep himself up that front.
Here's your point standings as Cody Wyman now over Joe Lamondre Jr. by 16 points. So Cody Wyman started with 18. He's got 16. What's going to happen at the next race? We're excited to find out. For Hannah and Jason, I'm Greg. We'll see you for the next one.